Roll Tide and welcome to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, as we're coming to you from inside Bryant-Denny Stadium at the Advantage Center at our studios. I'm Roger Hoover, pleased to be joined by Alabama defensive lineman LT Overton as we talk about what's coming up for the Crimson Tide this year. And first of all, LT, welcome to the Crimson Tide football family, or should I say welcome back, considering you've been here before.
Appreciate that.
How meaningful is it just to be back around this campus? And now, you were growing up, you got to be around Alabama football a little bit, but now that you're a Crimson Tide football player, how meaningful is it?
I mean, it's a crazy experience because, growing up, especially, being here and then going to Atlanta, a lot of fans thought I was going to go to Georgia or either here, but I ended up going to A&M just because of the relationship I have with my coach. But I feel like I've always had, a connection with Alabama in some way or fashion, but I feel great. It feels great being back. I see a whole bunch of changes in the facility, a whole bunch of new guys, new faces, and then when you see the old faces, they'll be like, "Hey, you're Milton's son, ain't it?" They just know my dad, so it's good being around.
That's definitely good, and we're glad you're back. Tell us about this time of the year. What's most important? Kind of what's your week structured like as you're in a lot of strength and conditioning work, some individual work too?
So basically, we'll have our workouts more in the morning. That's kind of what DeBoer brought in. I think how Alabama did it, they were more afternoon workouts, and that's how I did it back at A&M too. So it's kind of a new feeling towards workouts for me because I'm usually working out at the hottest part of the day, but now we're kind of getting it early in the morning and getting all our schoolwork done in the afternoon. So it's a different change. It's a good change, different change. But we'll work out. We'll have our workouts early in the morning, and then from there we'll go to. Well, if you have classes, you can go to classes. But we'll have study hall tutoring, and then most of the guys will go back in later in the afternoon and get work in if we schedule it that day.
Are you watching much film at all this time of the year, or any kind of game prep, or any just kind of X's and O's at this point?
It's more like game prep, kind of getting back to studying our playbook and really understanding because, we got a whole new defensive staff too. So just really understand the playbook and getting a better understanding of how it's going to flow into the game when we play.
What do you like most about some of the strength and conditioning stuff? Do you love being in the weight room?
I love being in the weight room. I'm not going to lie. It's crazy because I came in at about 245, 250, and now I'm standing at 275, 280. So I just love the weight room. It's a huge difference, huge change. I know the strength and conditioning staff back at A&M changed, but it's just a huge difference from there to here because they literally have their own man-made stuff that no other organization has. So it's a good experience throughout. It's been an amazing experience throughout the whole time I've been here.
For your position, what's really most important that you're trying to target when you're in the weight room? How can you get stronger at this point?
I feel really lower body and more of back because that's really our aim at points. As soon as we're getting off, we're exploding with our legs, and then most of our back muscles are activated. So I feel Alabama's really put in the time and effort and the forming workouts for stuff like that, especially seeing how strong your hamstrings are, seeing if they can strengthen certain muscles to make you a better athlete overall.
That's certainly good. So you're now part of the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll start to get into your journey just a little bit. You mentioned your dad, first of all, Milton Overton. What can you tell us about him and his football career, and then how his career impacted you growing up?
So he played at the University of Oklahoma, but he started as an assistant athletic director here at Alabama. Started at A&M. That's where I was born, and then transitioned here to Alabama right when Nick Saban came in here. And from then, that's when I started really building a relationship with all football, because I was always around the guys. I used to go to Nick Saban's house when I was a kid, play with his grandkids, and do all that. So it was and then my dad, he as soon as he got done coming here at Alabama, he ended up going to Florida A&M to get that actual athletic director job, and then from there he went to KSU, and that's what he's doing now.
That's really good. Yeah, a great tenure he's had at Kennesaw State already.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting to grow up in athletics. You mentioned you got to go to Coach Saban's house. How
Yeah.
about just basically, always kind of feeling at home on a campus? Have you really always had that?
Oh yeah, always. I feel like because my whole family's athletic. So my mom played volleyball at Kentucky. Brother's playing football at Arkansas State right now. I grew up playing football with him, high school and in college as well. So, and then my dad, him at Oklahoma. I've always just been in that sport background. So we've always been competitive, always been high on the sport gene.
Yeah, tell us a little more about your relationship with your brother and how you guys would have your backyard battles, I'm sure, and then
Oh yeah,
eventually got to play together.
man. Me and my brother, we've always battled. Like I was always a little brother, but as soon as I started getting bigger, like he always used to be able to pump me around. Like that's what I always used to like build up on. That's what I feel like he's always made me like better because of that. He always used to be able to pump me around, but as soon as I grew up, like it's like he's starting to take my hits now, and we just been building off relationship on that. Like it's like a tough brotherly love thing, but we're just making each other better. I feel like we make each other better at everything. Like when it comes to sports or academics, like I'm telling him, hey, you got to get on your work. Like you got to make sure because you got a future ahead of you. And then with sports, it's like, oh, we're always going at each other. Like when we're playing back at A&M, like I'm on his butt every day. Like, hey, we got to do this. Like we about to go on the field. We here tonight. We here in the morning. Like this is what we got to do. And then now that we're distanced from each other, it's more like, hey, like we'll be on the game with each other. Like we'll still have our competitiveness there. But now it's like we calling each other now and then. Like, hey, how you doing? Like everything all right? Seeing if we still want to. We just always keep in touch.
Did that make your transition into playing some organized sports a lot easier? The fact that you've been going up against him all this time, and then because you were reclassified essentially, didn't you play like high school football starting in 8th grade?
Basically, like because they had Alabama. I played at Bessemer Academy, and it was academy, so I was able to play 8th grade. I was able to play varsity in 8th grade, and I feel like him just being there, like playing with me. That was really a startup because that's when I first got to actually play on the same team as my brother, and it's just always been a connection that made me thrive. Like we always feed off each other's energy.
That's certainly really good. You mentioned the years you were here in Tuscaloosa. What were some of the favorite games, some of the favorite moments you had cheering on the Crimson Tide during that time?
I'm not gonna lie. When I was growing up as a kid, even though I was always here, I was a Clemson fan. I can't lie.
Where'd that start?
It started more like early middle school when I went to one of Dabo Swinney's camps. I was like, man, it's a beautiful campus, like great vibes, but like, we just had to grow out of it. It's a grow out of it type of situation. But yeah, I had to kind of force my hand. I was always against everybody, like especially back when Alabama and Clemson were playing each other in the national championship. It was just me versus my family, or me versus like whoever we were hanging out with, and it would be like, hey, at the end of the day, it's just sports. So,
well, at least Dabo played here. He's
yeah,
part of
yeah.
the coached here a little bit as assistant. At least he's part of the family.
Yeah.
That's certainly good. Anybody else like that, or just some other contacts your dad may have that you got to know at kind of an early age that really helped shape you?
What do you mean, like?
Just whether it was a coach or different camp experiences you got to have, like how much, any other influences like that?
Oh, when my dad was working back at when we were back at Florida A&M, that's where I started building like a big relationship with Jimbo. Like I really knew him before, like he went to A&M, and him and Coach Cochran when he was back down here, that was my guy. Like he was always calling me, "Hey LT, what you doing, man? What you doing, dog? You working, dog?" I'm like, he was always that guy.
Pretty energetic on the phone,
yeah.
just like all the clips we've seen of him and strength and conditioning stuff.
Yeah.
That's certainly good. When did you start to realize when you were starting to play some high school football that, all right, college is definitely going to be a possibility?
So it's crazy that you asked that. As soon as I left Alabama and went to a school in Georgia, like I really just went there, like just play ball, like just get better competition. Like, I'm not saying Alabama football is bad at all, but like 7A ball in Georgia is just different. And I didn't think, like, after that freshman year, I had like a crazy freshman year. I didn't think 24/7 Sports and Ride was all that. Like, they drove down and said, just announced me #1 player overall that day. And it just out of nowhere, just a random day, just came to my practice and said, "Hey, we're gonna name you #1 overall player." And from there, I was like, man, if I'm gonna be that big of a target, like, I have to start working, or people are just gonna keep trying to outwork me, or I'm gonna get injured because people are gonna just start trying to make a name off themselves on me. So that's where I started dedicating myself.
Did you like the recruiting process? Was it sometimes too much attention, or you're hearing from too many, journalists or schools? Did you ever have to shut it down at some point?
It was good. Like, freshman, sophomore year was good, but once you keep going through a few years of it, like, it gets to a point where it's like, hey, I'm just kind of saying the same stuff over and over again, doing the same stuff. Like, y'all just gotta let me figure out, decide where I want to go, instead of trying to push me into certain areas or try to just get a word out of me.
Did you like the visits too?
Oh
Different
yeah,
places?
it was amazing. Like, visits, you get to see different atmospheres, get to, like, see how different fans react, and like, all of it was a great experience. I couldn't tell you, like, how much I enjoyed just being around different settings and getting, like, different vibes from different people.
And then ultimately, what led to Texas A&M being the first choice for you out of high school?
Really, my coach, Coach Terry Price. He passed away, but he was always there for me. Like, he flew down, even came to basketball games, and it was always that supporter for me. And it was really between Coach Price and Coach Roach. Like, those my two guys, and I feel like I've always had Coach Roach to fall back onto. So that's, like, Price was always there for me, and he taught me everything, like, most of everything I know today. And I can't ever, like, I always got to fall back on that.
How good were you at basketball? Do you miss it?
Oh, I be at the rec. I still be at the rec. Like, there's nothing to miss. I still be at the rec. And if anybody's watching right now, it's on the Alabama football team. I just want to let them know they can't guard me. No one on the team can guard me. And that's just coming from me. Like I said, with all means respect, it's just coming from me.
I think we need to have our own series then. We need to take a camera crew, watch you out there against the rest of your teammates. Make sure you can back that up.
Oh, yeah.
What position did you play? What was your style of game in basketball?
I played forward, but position we was in, I actually played with a highly recruited team at Milton High School. We played teams like IMG, Mount Verde. Like, we were playing in the ESPN, like, top 100 games. And, like
so you played against some really good guys there, right?
I played against some dogs. Like, I'm talking, I played with, you know who Isaiah Coyer is?
Yeah.
Played with him, played with Cannon Carlisle, played with Bruce Thornton, like, and then, like, when we were playing, it was just bring back so many memories. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, that's what the show's
memories.
for.
Yeah. But
well, that's really cool. So again, you're still dominating at the rec then.
Oh yeah, got to. As soon as I go on the rec, see my squad, I'm like, he's good. He's good. Oh yeah. There go my guard. There go my big. I know what I want. I know what I need because I play forward. So I know what I know. I'll be picky, choosy, not gonna lie, because I'm really competitive. So I like to win.
You play against some random students, and it takes them a minute to be like, wait a second, this guy's on the football team.
Yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, like, some of them in the rec, they really be some rec. They be some dogs in the rec. I'd be surprised that they don't, like, try to walk on Alabama or anything, because you'll be surprised at how many athletes there are at the rec.
That's really good. Well, again, you made that choice to go to Texas A&M. What was the transition like for you playing high school football into college football, especially in the SEC?
Man, it was a crazy experience. I came into college 280. That first fall camp, lost 40 pounds. And I never thought, like, especially like under Jimbo, I never thought I'd question football in my life, because I love football so much. I never thought I'd question it until that freshman year. Like, it was a crazy transition, extremely crazy, and it brought, like, many experiences and many, like, life lessons through it, like values. I had to pressure myself and to keep pushing myself to do things I really didn't feel like doing, especially school-wise. I was in a business school at A&M my first semester, and, like, that's one of their top programs. So I was like, school's killing me, football killing me. What am I going to do? And that's when I had my brother to be like, hey, you gotta lock in. Like, you can do this. Like, I feel you. Like, freshman year always gets you. But it's the weed out year. Like, you'll be okay. And then I just finally started locking in, and just from there, like, so I just started developing a thought, like, oh, I just gotta start scheduling. Like, this is what I need to do. Boom, 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 boom. Then football, boom. Get this done. Film, study, lift, practice, and it's just all like a. Guys, just make sure you schedule that thing. Like, it's all like a continuously schedule.
I'm playing with Texas A&M as well. You got to experience Alabama on the other sideline after you've been here in the stadium cheering on the Crimson Tide as much. I mean, how surreal was that, first of all, to step on that field and get to play for the Aggies?
It was a crazy experience. Like, when they say the 12th man is strong, I've never like thought I thought they were kidding at first, but when you go, like, when you step on that field and see that crowd waving back and forth, like, it's a different experience. And like, they're just the fan base so dedicated, and just playing on the field though, like, yeah, I realized, like, I was 17 when I first started playing. When my first game starting was against Alabama, playing Jalen Milroe. Man, they had Jalen Milroe in the backfield, Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield. Yeah. I said, yeah, it was a tough experience, but I feel like I battled a lot of adversity.
Yeah, a couple of times there, and again, some ups and downs with the wins and losses as well, and then the coaching change. Is that when you started thinking about getting in the portal?
Yeah, especially after my coach had died, a whole bunch of like coaching shifts in the staff had changed, and like, instead of like the weak side end being on the ground, they were dropping more, and I wasn't really like, it wasn't fitting what I came to college for or playing football for. So I feel like after all that situation happened, then Jimbo got fired, the whole new staff came in that I never really knew. So I just knew I had to enter in that portal for my situation. My whole college experience just changed.
Did you have a pretty open mind when you went in the portal, or were you thinking Alabama from the start?
Not open mind. Like, I always keep my mind open. I don't ever just want to like always just depend on just one thing. But I just feel like after narrowing it down, like, Alabama was just that choice. Like, they mean business. Like, when you come to Alabama, you know you're gonna get success out of coming to Alabama.
And then who were some of the main recruiters? And this was also before Coach Saban retired. So what was that experience like, kind of going through the change immediately after you got here?
It was crazy. After we lost the Rose Bowl, got here, got back, flew down. There was a quick meeting the next day, like a random meeting, and it was Saban called it. And we were like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, what does he got planned for us? He was talking about, hey, I'm sorry, like, about everything, but my last year, guys, I'm retiring. It just hit me hard, because I was like, man, is the whole coaching staff gonna change? My coach gonna get fired? Like, I came down here to play for Coach Roach. Is he gonna get fired? Like, what am I gonna do? But then, like, the coaching staff that remained, like, their whole message was, like, just remain faithful. Like, just believe. Like, we're gonna bring in somebody that will fit the best. And they brought in the board, and I could just tell, like, I love his vibe. Like, he brings in a younger generational vibe, but he makes sure, like, it's not just one-sided. Like, he's around everybody, like, from walk-on to O-line to D-line, not just the offense, but everybody. And it's valid. Like, it's something I could deal with.
Have you gotten to talk with him much one-on-one?
Oh, yeah. Like, I have DeBoer's number. Like, never had a head coach on Snapchat. I have DeBoer's Snapchat. Like, it's crazy. Like, that's how connected that's how connected he is with his team, like, with his players.
That's really cool to see, and especially just being accessible to you guys. And I imagine that goes with your defensive coordinator as well. What have you liked about Coach Womack?
Man, he old school, and I love that. Like, he's not old school himself, but he always has his dad around, and I could tell, like, him and his dad, they know something. Like, the defense he's running, I'm like, yeah, it's different, but it's good. And I feel like his rationale, like, the way he explains things and the way, like, he does things defensively, you could just tell he knows what he's doing. And, like, but the main thing, like, I love about him is how, like, connected he tries to get with his guys. Like, all positions. He's always laughing, giggling, making a joke here and there, and yeah.
That's really good. Has it been a huge change, kind of learning his defense as opposed to what was previously there?
I really didn't have to learn it because I didn't get to play in the Rose Bowl. Yeah, but I could tell like it's way more simpler than it was. Like I saw the old playbook that Alabama had. It was, yeah. I feel like that's like a big playbook is where a lot of defenses get too confused instead of simpling it down. That's what he does now. He makes sure he simples it down so we could just go out and play. Like just go out and play. That's what his main thing is.
What do you like about your position player room right now and some of the different personalities and the guys you get to be competitive with, especially during the spring? Yeah. And then I know everyone's going to have that common goal once we get to the fall. But, I mean, you guys are pretty competitive, I imagine.
And I love the guys in the D-line room. Like, it's a whole different change from the D-line room at A&M because, you know, we had, like, a whole bunch of 5-stars. So we got a whole bunch of guys that, like, just know the game. Like, but I feel like the D-line here is, like, way more connected. Like, we have people – a lot of them are from Alabama and some from Mississippi, so like they know, like they're in the same area and they connect a lot. Like, and then one of the main things I really do love about our one of the guys named TK is that like we're all like Christ oriented. Like we always talk about Jesus. He always brings it in. Like he makes sure like if y'all want to come to Bible study, I got y'all. Like. And he be preaching to us, so it's just a good D-line vibe all around.
Yeah, you guys are competitive with each other, and then especially in the spring, you're competitive with the offensive line. Have you enjoyed some of those battles?
Man, those battles got crazy. Like, you know, DeBoer's big motto, no fights, but you got something, like it gets to the point, you know, it gets to that point. But yeah, the battles are good. Like, I've never seen like such intense practices, like, we mainly like do good on good. Like those guys, like we be battling. Like we get good work in every day.
Who are some of the linemen you went up against the most?
Wilkin and Miles and Caden. Not Caden, but Pritchard. Those guys. Like it's a whole different because Miles is more big, so you can't really bull him. Can't really like use all power, so you got to finesse him. But then you have athletic guys like Pritchard and Wilkin, and then where you have to start using different moves. So it's a different lineup for every matchup I get.
You look forward to going up against Caden Proctor at some point?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I love me some Proctor, bro. Like I'm glad I'm glad if he's watching this. I'm glad he came back because that's just great competition. Like that O-lineman like Proctor is who will get you better.
Yeah, and that's why you're at Alabama, right? It's because you're able to have all those tough practices, and then sometimes the games are easier than the practice, and it helps you get ready for the next level.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's certainly good. What are you most excited about for this fall?
I really don't know why I'm about to say this, but really fall camp. I've never really been excited for fall camp about the 2 years I've been playing football, but I feel like this fall camp's going to be different. I feel like this fall camp we going to like get good work in and build more team chemistry because it's like a whole new team, kind of really like a new team coming in, especially on the defensive side. But I feel like this fall camp will really build that chemistry and need up.
Do you feel like one of the leaders on this team, even though you've only been here for a few months, but have you taken some ownership in a leadership role?
Yeah, and I feel like my ownership, my
like leadership.
Yeah, I feel like it can get better too. Like I can expand on. I feel like I'm more like a quiet leader right now. Like I'll tell guys, hey, we gotta do this. Like you gotta lock in on these like playbook and stuff. But I feel like I'd be more vocal. I should be more of a vocal leader.
Who are some of those vocal guys that really step up?
You got TK. You got my boy Zebo, Tim. And then you got Malachi Moore, and you got D-Law, all of them.
That's really good. We're going to have Tim Keenan coming up. What should we ask him when he's sitting in that chair next week?
Ooh. But ask him what his favorite flavor of music is, because he's like, he knows that good. He knows them good, especially some old school songs. He knows the songs.
So follow him on Spotify or anything? Okay.
Yeah.
That's certainly good. We're really excited, LT, that you're part of the Crimson Tide football family. Again, you grew up here for a while. You got to see all of it. We're glad you're in Crimson. We're glad you're going to be suiting up for the Crimson Tide this fall. Just thank you so much for your time, your insights you've given us here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. It's been a blast. Roll Tide.
Appreciate it.